Hey YouTube, Dawson Rider here with my review of the Power Rangers Team Pack with Goldar, the Target exclusive pack. I think the word pack was just in there 2 or 3 times. Also, I apologize if I sound a little funny. I'm just getting over a cold. That's my first review recording post-cold. So, yeah, sorry about that. But I think I'm okay-ish for this. Probably not, though. Anyway, so these are your standard 5-inch figures, which we get for every series. Well, except for when we did the 4-inchers for a while. But anyway, but they are in a pack. What makes them different is they are all more metallic-y color than the regular releases, and they come with this exclusive Goldar figure. I can't remember whether we've seen pictures of a standard size individual release Goldar figure, because I believe right now, as I know, this is the only way to get a standard size of him, because the only other figures I know of are Rita and Alpha and the Putty. So anyway, these are the same mold, they're just a slightly different coloring, and you get an exclusive figure. So now that that rambling's out of the way, let's go ahead and take a look at them. When I do review the regular ones, I will do a comparison side by side. I'll talk about it a little bit at the end, but I'll do that in the other review. I don't have those yet. They're on their way to me. But anyway, so let's get started here with Red because he's, well, right here in front of us. Okay, so overall, I think that these have good detail molds. I think the guy figures are pretty well done, especially in terms of the detail molds. I think that the helmets look pretty good, pretty accurate, maybe not like the absolute 100% best, but I still think they capture it pretty well. Same thing with the armored look. I think that the proportions are pretty well done on it. There's not too many huge problems I have with like the weird proportions in the legs and the arms in terms of like where they meet here, which I'll talk about in a second with the larger scale figure, which I had a slight problem with, but I think they got the proportions on it nicely done. The details for the most part are pretty good. I kind of wish that looked a little more Galaxy-like the large scale figures. That would be kind of cool. But for the most part, the details are pretty good. They got pretty good little molding details there on the Power Morpher. Just overall, I think pretty solid. I also really like the metallic-y color. Like I said, I'm going to get both of them, and I don't have them yet, but I've seen them in store, and I've, you know, seen pictures, and basically, the other ones aren't as metallic-y, and they're sort of closer-ish to, like, the standard color you would get in a Ranger suit if these were spandex. Maybe not quite that, they still have a little bit of that armored look, but personally, I think these are more accurate to what we've seen from the suit shots in the movie. We'll see as we go when we get to see them eventually in action the day they come out in theaters, because apparently we're not getting footage. But yeah, so for me personally, I think that these look closer to what the sort of metallic-y shine looks like from the promotional shots we've gotten. And it matches up pretty well with, this is the large-scale Legacy figure from New York Comic Con. This one's a little bit darker, it seems. As you can see, his helmet's just kind of a little bit more detailed. But it's still that same colored look, and this was also a special recolor. But I think they're both... Maybe this one's a little bit more accentuated with like the translucent-ish-y vibe, but I still like the way both of those looks. And this is what I was talking about here. I don't have any problems with this. Is my one main issue with these large figures were the gap here, and this doesn't have that, which is nice. Articulation-wise, it's pretty standard, and honestly, all of these are really solid. I don't have any even on the verge of loose-feeling joints, which makes me happy. But you get the standard in and out, all-around articulation here. Elbow joint, he is missing the ability to move his wrist, which is kind of annoying. I'll get into that in a minute. Then you have the same standard leg articulation all around here. Single elbow joint, knee joint here. No swiveling down here or anything like that. You can move his head around. No waist articulation as usual. The only weapon he comes with here is this clear, translucent, I guess that's the same meaning, but sword. And just real quick to show you, here it is next to, there's a 5-inch Ninja Steel figure, just to show that it's the same size. And then I guess while I'm doing this bit, here's like next to, as you can see, the size comparison to a Legacy figure. But yeah, it's weird because it's kind of annoying they don't have the, like, this is a terrible year for wrists apparently, because they don't have wrist articulation, but these guys' wrists are always popping out, so like, I don't know which one. I think the wrist popping out annoys me more, but yeah, that's a thing. Alright, so we don't need to go over the mold for these two since we just went over the mold for Red, but here's Blue. I really like Blue. It's kind of rapidly becoming my favorite suit. I just really like the way that this comes off the back of his head. It has the most alien feel to it, and his armor, the shiny look of it, is really the best of them, in my opinion. I think it looks really good. I really like it a lot. You saw that the Red Ranger came with his power sword. They all just come with little sort of energy attacks, which probably or maybe will be used in the movie. And from what we know, they're not going to have individual weapons outside of red. So, but yeah, I just really like the way Blue looks. I think that his metallic paint job is the best of the bunch, personally. Like I said, same articulation, no loose joint problems. Here's Black's. There we go. Also pretty good looking. His metallic, like, look is more noticeable in, like, a different way. Like, it's probably the most subtle, but it's just kind of a different kind of noticeable than the other since he's so much of a darker color. But I still think he looks pretty good. Again, he's got this little piece. They just go in, like, they're not permanently attached. You put them in there like that. I probably should have noted that. Okay, now here's where we get weird. Don't get weird, guys. So, but they're getting weird. They're getting alien. Like, okay, here's a funny thing. I really like pretty much all the designs for the PR movie because I love that it fits the alien vibe. She looks like an alien, but I know the suit's supposed to look alien, but like her proportions look alien. I think the girl mold is really weird. Maybe it's just me, but I don't think it is. Like, and I don't even remember them, because I know, like I said, the suits look alien, but just from the proportions in the promotional shots, I don't remember the girls looking like their body shape, which is human, looking that alien. Like, it's mainly the necks that do it. Like, they have these long, like, Kaminoan necks. Like, are you gonna go make some clone troopers later? Where's Rex? Where's Cody? Like, it's just, yeah, that looks weird. And then the way the leg joints are, like, they have this really weird stiltish look. And, like, they do a good job of making it, like, a skinnier female mold, but it looks too lanky. It's just weird for me. That's honestly what the main drawback I have in these figures, is how weird the female mold looks. For the most part, you do get the same articulation as the guys, same with no wrist articulation, same movement. You don't have any skirt pieces to worry about, but you have all the same stuff. It was, like, not focusing on her, just looking at the others. But, yeah, it's weird, guys. The metallic color looks good. I think it looks good. I think her helmet sculpt looks good if it wasn't attached to a stick. And here's Yellow's. Hers maybe looks a little less weird. Maybe it's because her helmet's a little bit, like, wider than Pink's, but it's still, guys, it's weirdly lanky. Like, and, like, even when, oh, that was awkward. But, like, even when, like, her helmet and neck look a little less awkward, I look down here and she still has those weird legs. The metallic still looks good-ish. It's a little more subtle on her. But, yeah, I'm really weirded out by the girl mold. It's just, it's a thing. Okay, now Goldar, which has been a fairly controversial figure, no pun intended, or was it? It's always intended with me, over recently, because he was first unveiled in a larger scale figure, looks to be on the scale of the interactive Megazord. This one looks more put together in terms he doesn't look quite as melty, he looks a little different, which could lead us to believe he has different forms in the movie, but we don't know at this point. I don't know if you're watching this recording in the future, but as of this moment, 90% of the information / quote-unquote marketing we've gotten is from toys. So we don't know what Goldar looks like rendered. So, like, this is all we have to go on. So he's very basic, and I already did a video based on my thoughts on this, and I'm actually pretty okay with the way it looks. I think, depending on what they do, it could make a pretty cool concept. And I think this together version looks even cooler. Oh, there's a piece of hair fuzz on there. That's just awkward and embarrassing, man. But, I don't think it looks bad, and I think that this has potential to look cool rendered in CGI if it's all, like, gold and, like, awesome and stuff. But I won't deny that the figures don't translate very well. I think that the color on this looks better than what we've seen in that large one. I think the metallic-y more look lends itself better than just kind of that basic color that the larger one seems to have, so I think that this has that going for it. But regardless, I get a feeling that this is something that the concept will look cool in CG, but it's going to be really hard to translate into a figure, and so that's just kind of a problem there. So, like, the details are all very melty, but, like, that's the purpose, but he just seems to have a bit more of a unique structure to himself where that's concerned. So it's really hard to judge it and be like, oh, this is show accurate or movie accurate, because we don't have any idea. He has pretty much that standard monster figure articulation, though, where it's like, oh, look, he's got the same articulation as the Rangers. Oh, look, and then his knees don't bend. Why? Could his knees not have just bent? So he's actually more well articulated, if that makes sense, than some monster figures, but he's still, like, just missing that one aspect. It's like, I just wish his knees bent. But overall, I'm okay with him, and it's, like, the only way to get him. So, anyway. So, this is going to be kind of a rambly verdict, so I apologize. If you are going to buy one set of 5-inch figures and you really want them, go for this one, I would say personally, because not only do I think that the metallic look is closer to what it looks like in the movie, but you get the exclusive Goldar, and you can pick up Alpha later, and it's just like you have all of them. So I recommend that. But that being said, as far as the figures go, recommendation-wise, I'm happy with them for multiple reasons, but also not in others. I think the 3 guy figures are pretty well done. Outside of the wrists not moving, which is kind of annoying, I think they look good. They're a solid mold with no, loose joints or anything. They're very solid, decent figures. Now my problem comes with the girl figures just looking weirdly lanky. When you put them together with the team, it's not quite as noticeable. It's almost like this weird effect of the ugly fish girl effect when they all pool together or something. It was an episode of How I Met Your Mother, but as soon as you separate them, they look weird. So I really wish the girl mold wasn't so weird. So overall, I would say this wave's kind of a mixed bag in terms of overall quality, but if you really want a set of 5-inch figures, go for this set. I think it's the best value and the best way to complete your collection. But yeah, it's a weird mixed bag. 'Cause it's not one of those things where I'm like, oh, buy the whole wave. I'm like, well, the girls are kind of bad, but don't you want to get them to complete the set? So, I don't know. Anyway, like I said, it was going to be rambly, but that's about it. Until next time, make sure to check out the Crazy Podcast at writersrangersrambles.com. And of course, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. This is Nasally Dawson Rider, signing out.